Hey there, Teacher Bestie. I want to start our talk today with a little story time. I promise it'll come back around to teaching, but just if you'll indulge me for a minute, and it has to do with this cup. So once upon a time when I was in college, I worked at a Bible camp. It was a camp that I went to as a kid and that I loved so much. I went all through middle school and high school. And so it only felt natural that when I was in college, I was going to be a counselor there. And sometimes it was crazy. I was like, oh, I'm getting paid to stand around a campfire and sing songs. And I'm getting paid to canoe and I'm getting paid to horse ride. But there were definitely moments as well where I was like, I can't believe I'm getting paid 39 cents an hour to do this. There were fewer of those moments when I worked on the houseboat program and I was sailing up and down the Mississippi, living my best life with great people and humans. I'm sure that you have moments like that in your classroom too, where you're like, oh my gosh, this is such a blast. And other moments like, I can't believe that I'm only getting paid X amount of dollars to do this job. Anyways, I loved camp. And one thing though that I didn't love about camp was this rule that we had that we weren't allowed to drink pop in front of the kids. And I'm a rule follower by nature. I'm a people pleaser by nature, except for when I think a rule is stupid. And I understand why we can't all be drinking pop in front of the kids because they can't have it. But the part that I thought was dumb was that my coworkers, my colleague counselors who drank coffee, got to have coffee in the morning. There would be a pot of coffee at breakfast and they would all fill up their cups and they would walk around. And I was so jealous because like, why should they get to have their caffeine and I don't? Just because their caffeine is hot and my caffeine is cold. It felt like a stupid rule in my opinion. And it took me about 4 weeks into the summer to figure out that if I surreptitiously take my coffee cup and go around the corner and put my soda in it, and then I walk around sipping it saying, still warm, nobody knows any wiser. And then I can still have my caffeine and survive and thrive whatever the rest of the day throws at me as a camp counselor. And it makes my heart happy. So I told a friend this story once and then she bought me this cup that says this might be Diet Pepsi. And so this is our analogy and metaphor for today's lesson and Teacher Bestie Talk. And that is that our kids are cups and we are supposed to fuel them and fill them with educational experiences, but not everybody needs the same thing in their cup, okay? Sometimes you can hand a kid a prose novel and they're off to the races and ready to roll. But sometimes a student might need an audiobook or a graphic novel version. Doesn't make the experience any worse. It just makes it different. Maybe a student can head off to the races with a worksheet and maybe somebody else needs a word bank. There are all sorts of different ways that people learn and experience the world. And so as teachers, we have to remember that not everybody drinks coffee. Sometimes people drink Diet Pepsi and it's okay. And so we have to provide them with their cup and what they want in it in order to maximize their learning rather than try to fit everybody in the same box. So this is an example. I'm going to talk to you about a specific resource that's going to utilize this whole idea of giving them what they need and still meeting our educational goals. So I wrote this story called The Wind Up and the Steal. It's a short story about a baseball player. He is a famous pitcher. His name is Bear because he's like this big grizzly mountain looking man. And he is just like world class, right? He has struck out more people than anybody else. And Bear has this tradition that before he starts a game, he walks around to talk to the people behind home plate. It reminds him that like, this is a game, this is a sport, this is fun. Yes, it's my job and something I take very seriously, but it like humanizes it, right? And so one night when he is going to do this pregame ritual, there is a man sitting behind home plate that he recognizes. And he recognizes this man because he is the most famous in his industry as well. But this man is famous because he's a thief and he steals things, big things, important things, like expensive things. One time he even stole a country. He gave it back, but that's not really the point. So Bear sees this man, Danny Tortuga, at his game, and suddenly his interest is piqued. And he's like, why is he here? What is he doing? What is he gonna steal? Okay, so that's the premise. That's the story. It's super fun. So I wrote the story, and you could just give it to kids and say, read it and answer the comprehension questions, okay? That would be the coffee in the cup. But some kids need different things. And so I have built in all of these layers to provide Diet Pepsi, water, apple juice, whatever they want to drink, to make this an educational experience that means something to them, okay? That meets them where they're at and takes them where we want them to end up and to go. So, for example, there is an entire set of vocabulary words in the story, highlighted, easy for them to see, and some kids are just good to go with that, but other kids might need the PowerPoint that I created that has all of those words and both a picture and a text definition for what that means. You could preview before you read the story so that when you get there, we don't have to struggle through the story and, ooh, I'm stuck, I don't know what that word means, because we've already talked about it. There's also an audio version of the story so that students who struggle with decoding or perhaps fluency can follow along more easily, and then their brain can think about what the story actually means as opposed to, how do I say that word? There's also space on the side of the paper for text annotating and a little guide for how to annotate text. And some students automatically think about what they're reading. They don't need someone to instruct them through that process of like, hey, if you're not thinking about anything while you're reading, there's a problem. They're already thinking. But some kids need that nudge. And so we've provided that space and that instruction for them to help guide them through the process of metacognition. Then when we get to the end of the story, there are 4 different ways for students to respond to the text. Do they have to do all 4? Heck no, that would be overkill. The reason that I put 4 there is because different kids get excited about different parts of the story. And as long as we're thinking about the story, responding to the text, including our own personal reactions and thoughts about it, does it really matter which way we respond to it? So the first way is just straight up plain old comprehension questions. It's talking about what happened in the story. The second way offers creative writing prompts for them to continue the story or write what happens before the story starts, or to give the story a twist and their own version of it. The third way is that I created a podcast in which 2 people discuss this story, and they're able to hear like some real literary analysis of what is happening in the story on a deeper level, and then respond to questions related to that podcast. And then the fourth way is that I had Suno. I don't know if you guys know Suno, but it's so fun. It's this AI music generator. And I had it help me write a song version, a ballad of Bear and Danny Tortuga's journey through the baseball game and eventually the Met Gala. And so that student response activity asks kids to listen to the song and compare and contrast the song version, the ballad version, versus the prose text version, okay? All of the activities are great. All of them achieve almost the same results. You could divide your kids into 4 groups and say, you guys are going to do this one, you're going to do this one, you're going to do this one, you're going to do this one. And not only will they get a response that they're excited to participate in, but then afterwards, you're going to be able to have this incredibly robust discussion and conversation in which they're all sharing something new and exciting that the others hadn't heard about before. Rather than hear the same responses over and over again, because everybody has to talk so that I can mark it off in the speaking and listening engagement, scope and sequence, checklist thing, standards grading, everybody's going to be like, wait, what? You got a song? Oh, cool, you had a podcast? Great, let me listen to that short story you wrote. I can't wait to hear it. Like, it is so much more interesting to be in a classroom when everybody has something different in their cup. And I get that that is a lot of work for you. I understand that. That's why I try to create resources that do it for you and help you out. But even if you just think about this year after year and you're like, I'm gonna add in 1 new layer. I'm gonna add 1 new beverage option on our list today, this year, so that then next year I can add 1 more and then maybe I have 3. I don't know. I hope that this analogy is helpful for you. I hope that you can see that not everybody has to do the same thing in order to get to the same place. I hope that this analogy and metaphor makes sense for you. If you need help coming up with these ideas, I have an app for that. So Rita Bot, she is the chatbot inside my Word Nerd Daily app. And you can ask her a question. You can say like, hey, I'm planning this lesson around a short story, and I want to give kids different options for responding. Or what supports could I include to help the ELL learners in my classroom? Or I have a student who thrives with auditory learning experiences. What could I add to this lesson to benefit them? If you just ask RitaBot in the app, she's gonna come up with some really great ideas for you. So here's what I'm gonna do for you. Down in the video description box, I'm gonna put a link for the app. I'm gonna put a link for this story. It's called The Wind Up and the Steal. So if you're like, I gotta know what happens to the baseball player and the thief, you can do that. You can also then use this lesson in your classroom and try it out and see what it's like to have your kids get what they need in their cup. So I hope this fills your cup. I hope your coffee is hot or your Diet Pepsi is icy crispy cold, and that you have a great day. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this Teacher Bestie Talk. I hope you come back again for more. I'll see you again next time. Happy teaching.